cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast
2209 That is the number of today's podcast. That's called Mike's Daily Podcast. Hello, how are you? My name's Mike Matthews. This is a show where I sing to you at the beginning and then we talk about stuff that's kind of interesting. And then Mike Matthews has some visitors that stop by and they sing. They don't really sing. I kind of sing at the beginning, if that's what you want to call it. And it's great. And I hope you love it. And I hope you follow it with a delicious meal. A Hungry Man meal, for example. Mike's Daily Podcast. Do you remember Hungry Man? Hungry Man meals came in, I think they were completely covered in aluminum foil. Mike's. And you stuck them in the oven. Daily. And that's the podcast. This is before we all had microwaves. Yeah. And then that was how you got your instant meal thing. That was it was in the freezer section. And this stuff, it's forever etched in my mind. I think because my mom wouldn't ever make fried chicken. So all of a sudden you've got this thing that's got fried chicken in it. And I was, oh, is that what that is? My mom did the shake and bake. Shake and bake. Yes. Which is basically, I have long since discarded shake and bake. I do my own. I get flour, usually some kind of wheat flour. And I put it over the chicken and add a bunch of seasonings, garlic powder, maybe some of your Italian seasonings, your herbs and whatnot, pepper, salt, although I try and stay away from salt. Then so the old way, shake and bake, the way my mom would do it, she'd dump it in the bag with the powdery stuff that has basically everything in it that I was just talking about. Maybe it also had, what is that stuff? Like the, not the cornflakes, but the kind of the panko breading type thing. The breading. Yes, the breading. Gosh, I haven't bought breading in a while. I'm now realizing. So you would shake it and then put it on these.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Cookie sheets. And then if your mom did like my mom did, she'd put like a brick of butter on each chicken. Yes, it tasted really, really, really good. But probably not the healthiest thing. At any rate, I do my own version now with a little bit of olive oil. I don't use butter. And I use, like I said, a little bit of the flour. I try not to get too crazy on the breading. It's just mostly in the seasoning. But I bake it. It's all about baking it so you're not cooking it in oil. Although, yes, that makes it taste way better. That's right, Basil. I let Basil have some of the chicken that I would make back in the day. He enjoyed it. Yes. And he says, give me more, give me more. Ah, Basil. He was very happy with my cooking. Even if I wasn't. You know, what it is you don't put a lot of olive oil on there, by the way. Just a little. You don't want to go crazy. Olive oil is one of the better oils you can put in your system. Coconut oil, apparently not, because it's so thick. It clogs up your arteries, apparently. You want the oils that can go through your system better. This is what I read. This is what I found out in my health class. This is what I have acquired knowledge-wise. I heard, is it sunflower seed oil is supposed to be really good for you, too. So let's say you're going, hey, Mike, I want to start my own podcast. Or, hey, Mike, I want to, because you can make a lot of money off of podcasting, right? Hold on, I'm going to laugh. Okay, there was, imagine laughter just then. I couldn't make myself laugh right there. I'm not the best actor. Yes, no, you can't really make money off of the podcasting unless you have a really popular topic like gaming. And let's say you're really good at gaming, at games of some kind. Then a lot of people might want to check out your podcast. Or maybe you're really good with makeup. But then now we're talking about video podcasts. And that's a different thing. This is an audio podcast, as you probably can tell, which you should be thankful for, because what this would be visually would not be all that interesting. So let's say you want to start that or a small business of some kind. This guy, Ronaldo Webb, he's the founder and chief product officer at Pet Plate. And he writes for Startup Nation, which helps entrepreneurs start businesses. He says, after the initial excitement of launching a new business, building and scaling it isn't easy. Navigating this next phase often creates more questions than answers. Scott Belsky describes this crucial part of any venture or project as the messy middle in his book called The Messy Middle. How well you navigate this stage can determine the success of your venture. Now, Ronaldo says, my experience has taught me that your conviction in the understanding of your customer and confidence in your ability to design the right product or service are crucial to making it through this stage, the messy middle. My mom had a video store for many years that she started up all on her own. And yes, there was a messy middle. There's probably the whole time she had the shop, as she called it, it was a messy middle. But she found that she had a talent for remembering people's names, and people loved that. People always remarked on that. And she would let certain customers that were renting videos sit there and talk to her for a long time. She had a chair there, a director's chair that said Hitchcock on it, as if it belonged to Alfred Hitchcock at one point. And I think she still has that chair somewhere in Florida. But yeah, so she found that knack of really knowing her customers. Ronaldo says, I first realized I was in the messy middle when I left the TV show Shark Tank without a deal. I had launched my business, Pet Plate, which sells direct-to-customer human-grade pet food. 6 months after spending months at my previous job consulting for pet food companies and seeing the ingredients that made their way into pet food. This first-hand experience gave me a strong conviction about Pet Plate's mission and products. But the sharks questioned it. They doubted the product format, the price, the size of the market, and me as a young entrepreneur. For a moment, I wondered if they were right. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Without strong conviction, it would have been easy to give up, or worse, make the wrong pivot. Without confidence in Pet Plate's mission and products, I might have turned to selling a more traditional form of dog food. However, spending months in pet food factories and being a pet parent myself gave me the necessary conviction to define what the future of dog food should look like. By the way, did you know? So recently, somebody wanted me to take their, what do you call it? French Bulldog. They had gotten a French Bulldog puppy, and the cost of getting this French Bulldog puppy was something on the order of $5,000 for this French Bulldog puppy. And he knew that I had Basil for over 10 and a half years, and he knew that I was a good puppy parent. And I am not ready, as I mentioned on this podcast, I am not ready to have a pet yet. It took a lot out of me the last couple of years with Basil, and his declining health was very difficult for me to go through. And so I'm still processing that. I mean, it was just like 6 months ago, so I'm still going through that. But he wanted me to take his little French Bulldog. I said, I can't. Sorry. What I'm going through now, I would not be the best puppy parent, and I just don't want to do that right now. And I found it interesting this past week that Lady Gaga, who has French Bulldogs, you heard that whole story, that the dog walker for those puppies was shot, but he survived. And let's see, there were 3 dogs. 2 of the dogs, well, they all made it back, thankfully, to Lady Gaga. But 2 of them, I think, were kidnapped for a while. And yet, this is what's interesting, is that the French Bulldogs, which she has, are very hot right now. And people are kidnapping them because they are demanding so much money. And it's, they're sweet, beautiful dogs. They're the ones with the big grins, the little pointy ears. They always have these big smiles. They're really small. They're great dogs. Apparently, they are cuddlers. But Yeah, I'm thinking, well, what about all the other dogs that need homes? What about all the other, like the mutts and the lesser enjoyed animals? I mean, I think just about every dog can bring joy to someone's life. And at some point, a dog will bring joy to my life again, but I'm not ready. So, Ronaldo Webb said that with his new business, we have shipped over 15 million meals to more than 300 dog breeds around the country. It still feels like Pet Plate is in the messy middle, but I am surrounded by a supportive team that shares our mission and vision to help dogs live healthier, happier lives. The statistics for the number of startups that succeed and fail highlight the importance of maintaining your conviction while you grow your business. There will be moments when you think you've made a fatal mistake, but oftentimes that's just an overreaction. Yes. Don't be so hard on yourself. You think you've made a fatal mistake, but it's just an overreaction. What's important is solving problems quickly and efficiently, nipping them in the bud. This will allow you to learn about mistakes, learn to keep from doing mistakes and keep moving forward, greatly increasing your chances of reaching success. I pulled this from, yes, the Costco connection, and they probably have some connection with Ronaldo's business, but at any rate, I thought I wanted to share that with you. I thought I would do that, and I did it. And check out more at MikesDailyPodcast.com. That's my little business that I make absolutely no money on, but yes, I put a little money aside for that every year, and I've had it now for a while. MikesDailyPodcast.com. You can call me at 336-MM Daily to let me know what you think about all this. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews Daily. As in what this podcast tries to be. I get interrupted. I got interrupted the past couple of days with stuff. I think we did one Saturday. We missed Friday. You know, it's here and there. It's scattershot, but I try. Mike's Scattershot Podcast is not as catchy a name. MikesDailyPodcast.com. And we're outside a cafe anyway. Look who's here. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, Chef Supervisor. It's really great to be an entrepreneur. Yes, and you've been one for a long time here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. The last place on earth selling your Cafe Anyway globes. Snow globes, I mean. Yes, Mike Matthews, you shake them and there's like snow inside. That's amazing. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, you were talking about Engineer Week last week. But it's not Engineer Week anymore. I'm sad. Mm-hmm. We should always remember engineers because they help fix things in this world and make our conversations very interesting because they have so much to say. They know a lot about all kinds of things, it would appear. Next show is going to be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. And you can catch this podcast in all the places. You can find it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. We got past shows there, past podcast pictures. I've also got my secret little short video clip that I include with every podcast. You can catch that there as well at MikesDailyPodcast.com. And with more on that, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
You know, I mentioned the podcast pictures that you can see, all the past ones. I forgot to mention today's. It's of what I thought was a yak, but it's actually an ox. And I used to live in a town called Oxnard. And then I finally got to see an ox. I lived in Oxnard for like a huge chunk of my life, 20 years or something. Went to high school and all that. Met all my friends there. Met a bunch of friends. Enjoyed the life in Oxnard. And then I finally got to meet an ox. This was about 2 weeks ago in Tamales. That's north of San Francisco. Just south of Bodega Bay. And this big furry ox, and I think it's a musk ox, actually. I thought it was a yak at first, but it is a musk ox from what I was able to find on the internet. Very sweet, big, shaggy, beast-like, bull-like type animal that has hair covering its eyes like a sheepdog. How cute. It reminded me of the sheepdog I had when I lived in Oxnard, Ollie Mop. But you can see that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com.